Welcome to Beyond the Code, the podcast where industry experts and brilliant legal minds discuss the impact of new emerging technologies. Hello, and welcome back to Beyond the Code here at Consensus 2026 in Miami. I am joined by Howden's very own Karen Knox, who's going to tell us all about her story, about how she got into this space and what she's done and what she's doing. Karen, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Lovely to meet you.
Very much so.
All right. So
Let's start with your origin story. Who are you?
yeah. Origin story, Karen Knox. I am with Howden, insurance broker, headquartered out of London. And we just opened up operations in the U.S. last July. And our U.S. headquarters is in Miami.
Okay.
So it's amazing. We have 6 digital asset colleagues here
Here
at
at the event.
From
Yes.
the U.K., obviously the U.S., Israel. And Bermuda.
Oh,
So
wow.
we've got an awesome presence here, and we're really excited, and we'll be hosting a happy hour later today. So
Okay.
super
All
excited.
important, but we're not here to promote Howden, although Howden is worth promoting. We could talk about that afterwards. We're here to talk about you. So who are you, Karen?
So
So you're not familiar with the podcast,
No.
but I like to go very deep. Okay.
Okay.
So like, where were you born? What was it like
okay,
growing up?
I didn't know you wanted all that. All right.
All of it.
All of it. Okay. So I was born in North Carolina.
Okay.
Some older people, older than I am maybe, are familiar with the Andy Griffith show. It's how Ron Howard got his start.
Of course.
That's my hometown.
Okay.
It's actually Mount Airy, North Carolina. So I grew up there, and I ended up moving to Kansas. You cannot see my red sparkly
You can see.
shoes, but I do have them. Promo for Kansas. So I went to University of Kansas, and I ended up getting an insurance when I left school, and it was international insurance. I got to go to Windsor, UK, and Paris within the first 3 mons of my job, and I thought,
Like,
this
is the best
international
job
insurance
ever.
gig is amazing. I'm not telling anybody else, but that was fabulous. And then I really enjoyed working with multinational clients. So I stayed in that space, and it was so wonderful because you got to meet people from around the world and to work with them every day. And so at some point I decided I need to live abroad, and I have a little girl. She is now 22.
Oh my God. You do not look like you have a
graduated
22-year-old. Okay.
In a couple of weeks, and she is starting a new job in the middle of June. She
In
just told me
insurance?
yesterday. She's pre-med, so she's going to go work in a
wow.
lab in New York City.
Okay.
So super
Wow, that's amazing.
excited. But yes, I had this little girl, and I wanted her to be bilingual. Not shocking, but not too many people in Mount Airy, North Carolina are bilingual, or at least we're not then. So we ended up moving to Israel, the logical place when you want your children to become bilingual.
Okay.
So I converted to be Jewish, and so I had
For the language?
yes, completely for the language. Absolutely.
What drove you to convert? You
So
don't
I
need
grew
many
up-
converts, and
Yeah, I grew up very interested in religion, had theological conversations from as young as I can remember. My grandfather on my mother's side was a primitive Baptist preacher.
wow.
And then I went to church with my dad's parents, and I was even nominated for seminary when I was in high school, just because I'm so interested in theology.
Wow.
And when I went to Kansas, there are no churches like the one I grew up in. It's Moravian. And I moved back to North Carolina with my daughter when she was about 3. And I got to go to the Moravian church. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I liken it to like going to your family's house.
Okay.
And you know where the spoons are, you know where the coffee
The
cups
familiarity.
are, all the things. But it's not your house. And that's how I felt when I went to church.
Wow.
And so I started reading about Judaism, and I called up the synagogue and said, I'd like to go to a service. What do I do? What does this look like? And my first service at Temple Bethel in Charlotte, North Carolina, I had tears in my eyes.
Wow.
And-
I've never heard any story like this before.
And that was it. Like I felt like this is my place.
Wow. So how old were you then?
My daughter was 3. Oh my God. It's been a few years, like 19 years ago.
Wow. So your daughter was
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
And then the like whole conversion process, like
Yeah,
what was that like?
immediately was into conversion. I mean, I genuinely loved it. We went to Shabbat services every Friday night. And honestly, part of my conversion was, or I'd say part of the process, or what was so meaningful for me that I talked about a lot, because I quickly became chair of the Interfaith and Outreach Committee, um, was how nice it was. It's so rushed on Shabbat. You know, I was a single mom, so I'm like getting my daughter from daycare. Like, I was the last parent. I was always that parent, where I'm the last one coming in. And I would go into services and sit down, and like I didn't have to participate if I didn't want to. You could just be there. And my mind's going all the time. It was the only time I could find quiet. And I love yoga and I love doing that, but there was something so special about
For sure.
Shabbat.
It's one of my favorite things about being Jewish is like that like forced sabbatical.
Yes.
And I mean, I remember like working in Big Law. It was always like very, very stressful. I was doing M&As and like working on these deals. And it didn't matter like how stressful it was. Like I knew at like noontime, that's it. Like I'm shutting down. I would sometimes finish
Yep.
calls like 2 minutes before Shabbat and then go to temple, and like you just feel like, okay, I'm in like this protective zone now.
Oh,
Nobody
totally.
else, nobody could touch me. All the worries of the week. And then for 24 hours, you're just like in the zone. And it's a really special thing.
It is. So I say I converted for Shabbat. It was really special. And
Wow.
I also, when I had my bet den, the part of the final conversion process, you know, I said, I just found a place that was aligned with my beliefs. I always had those beliefs. So none of my beliefs ever changed. I just found that alignment.
It's beautiful. And so what was it like living in Israel?
It was really hard.
Like Judaism is one thing. Jews are a whole different story.
Whole different story.
And Israelis, I mean,
Whole different thing. Israel is full of these contradictions for me.
okay.
It is a very hard place, yet also a very warm place. People are generally very warm and welcoming. There's an ease in Israel, which I love. Living there as a single mom has its own challenges. I worked a ton, and but my daughter, I have to say, like, you know, we moved there when she was 7, and I remember in 7th grade,
Where did you
when
guys
she was
live?
in 7th grade, we lived in Tel Aviv, and I had this moment at work where I'm like, oh my God, they go to the beach. Her and her friends, they went to school at the gymnasia, and they'd go to the beach. So I called her and I'm like, Laura, when you go to the beach, how far into the water are you getting because of the
Yeah.
riptide? And she's like, oh, Mom, just up to like, you know, we're in our school clothes. So no, you know, no taller. I'm like, no. You guys can't go in very deep. You just like walk in it, whatever. That's it. My concern was how far they're going in the water. And to explain that to American parents,
Yeah.
that I'm at work, my daughter and her friends have left school and just walked to the beach on their own. And she cherishes that experience so much.
How many years were you guys there for?
5 years.
5 years. Okay. And then moved to Boston?
And then we moved to New York City.
Okay.
And then we found our way in Boston, and we found the Jewish high school in Boston. Complete accident as well. I was looking for an apartment, and I hated this apartment. But this guy was so friendly, the landlord. And he's like, oh, you lived in Israel? And he's like, oh, there's a school. It has lots of Jews, like just around the corner. You should check it out. And they had an open house like 2 days later, not kidding. And we go to the open house, and it was amazing. Laurel's College.
What school is it?
Gann Academy.
Oh, Gann Academy. One of my best friends taught there for the last 2 years.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. His wife was doing her postdoc in Harvard, and he was like a spiritual something or other. I don't know, but they loved it. He said it was such a nice vibe, beautiful community.
Beautiful community. It was amazing for her and her friends. They still get together and do the like Thanksgiving review of what's going on. So it was amazing. And now that we've moved so much, now I really want to stay in Boston after all these years.
Okay, but it'll be hard, I guess, now that your daughter is in New York.
She'll be in New York. That's fine. It's a train ride.
Yeah, okay.
It's a train ride.
Okay,
That's not
very
bad.
nice. Okay,
And then
so bring me out. How did you
digital
get into
assets.
crypto?
Yeah. So when I was in Israel, I left insurance and I got a job at a
Give
startup,
me
an
years
e-com
just to place
startup.
me in terms of like where we are, what Bitcoin was trading at that time.
Oh, I didn't know about it
Okay.
then. Not really. This would have been, like 2013, maybe?
Oh, so early days.
No, this is
Okay.
like really, but I met this very colorful character named Chad Harris. He was my client at this e-com startup. So I leave the e-com startup. I work in the diamond business for a while, and that's how I actually got familiar with blockchain for diamond tracing. I missed insurance. I moved back to the States.
Missed insurance. I don't know how people can say that. They
I
missed
know,
insurance.
who says that?
You are the
It's so
most
nerdy
passionate
and-
insurance person that I've met.
I
You
really
should do
missed
sales for
the
Howden.
intellectual stimulation
Okay.
desperately. So even though I'm in sales, like I need to know what my clients do. I need to know all the things.
That's great.
Yeah, so I got back into insurance and I'm back in insurance not even a month, and I see that my friend has sold to Riot Blockchain. And I'm like, what are you doing with Bitcoin mining and Rockdale, Texas? You were in New Orleans and had an e-com site. Like,
Where did this come from?
How does this happen? So it was awesome. We caught up like 2 days later, and he's like, well, you're back in insurance. I think I need insurance. So next thing I know, I'm there.
You're the crypto insurance person.
I'm there on their site, sitting in the construction trailer with the founders and learning what they're doing. Like every 2 months, I would go down to Rockdale from Boston and sit with them. And then Chad's an amazing marketer, and he would go speak about like what Bitcoin has done for the community. And
he would speak about what Howden has done for Bitcoin.
And at the absolutely good.
Or not.
And then at the end, he would say, "Oh, and if you need insurance, call Karen Knox." And I had my competitors tell me that he was doing this. There were events I wasn't even going to, and I wanted to learn about it. I took the MIT crypto class. I'm not like the founders of that group who could rely on YouTube videos and other stuff. I needed some kind of formal education, if you will. And it was hilarious because Gensler's in those videos.
I was going to say, like, they would.
No, it was so funny. I'm like, does he know this was recorded?
Yes.
Anyone tell him? Yeah, so I love being challenged, and it's interesting. I get bored easily. In college,
in this industry, there's never a dull moment.
there's never a dull moment with the businesses or the people.
Yes.
And yeah, I started college as a chemical engineer and dropped out because I hated this horrible language called Fortran, which I stopped teaching shortly thereafter, and have an art history degree. So I feel like this is the way I get to really explore my interest in
best
tech
of both worlds.
so much.
You have your love of insurance and your appreciation for tech. So
Yeah. So it's been a lot of fun.
I think I could relate. Like it's, I came from like the traditional high-tech sector.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, everything was like moving over to like SaaS models, and it was a
Yep.
lot of like rinse and repeat, and it was getting kind of boring or less intellectually stimulating. And then crypto is just like, it's not just crypto, it's really like emerging markets or like our emerging tech, like anything like AI, very similar in the sense that like people don't know how to tackle it. We need to like figure stuff out, and both as you figure out the technologies, regulators also have to figure out how to address these products.
How are they functioning so that they gives them the guidance?
Crypto
How are people
really is
using them?
unique in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been in tech my whole career. When I had global clients before, I really have worked with tech companies for 25 years. So when I left insurance, I was working for tech companies. And when I was in insurance, I had tech companies. So it's definitely been a part of my my adult story.
Well, thank you so much for joining me and sharing your story. If people want to get in touch with you, what's the platform that you're most active on? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Probably LinkedIn. So Karen Knox at Howden.
Do you get a lot of jokes about like doing insurance and like Knox, Fort Knox, or it's not like you haven't done the plan?
I do get some Fort Knox sometimes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. I'm not the only
I
Knox
feel like you
in
should
insurance.
like work on that more because it's a.
I should play with it a little more.
It's good. It's good.
I'm glad you just didn't say anything about my first name, so we can.
What's wrong with your first names?
So, for example,
It's been a rough few years with my first name.
I wouldn't even have gone there.
Oh, appreciate that.
We're Israelis, so we're close. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was great.